Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ME Show. My name is Ali Mehdaoui, and today we are diving deep into the art and science of hospitality with someone who's lived it in the front lines. Our guest is Alexander, aka Alex B, aka Alex Babiolakis, founder and CEO of Manos Consulting. After over a decade building multi-brands, multi-companies, multi-projects, and including hospitality groups, Alex has launched a firm that partners directly with operators, founders, and investors to scale without sacrificing standards. He's been in the trenches from launching concepts to turning struggling operations around. And let's learn right now how he is going to be bringing the operator mentality to the consulting table. And personally, I've known this man for a very, very long time. First time we've met, we kind of locked eyes, old fashioned, and it's been a journey ever since. We've built companies together. We've traveled the world together. He and his beautiful bride and three amazing daughters are an incredible, incredible gift to us all. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not driving, feel free to drop some love in the comments. And of course, pay close attention because I'm about to get you a whole lot of nuggets that McDonald's is about to sue us. All right, let's get into it. Mr. Babiolakis, thank you for giving us the opportunity to interview you today. Of course. I'd love to start and dive right in. What inspired you personally to pivot from running the different projects that you had to saying, I'm going to launch Manos Consulting?
So I guess let's go back. I'm not the founder. I'm not the starter. The founder and the starter is my old man. And everything that we have as a hospitality group is, through his name, Mano. And all of our restaurants had started with, Manos, which is my dad's name, and turned into now a multi-unit group that services, for restaurants in multiple different categories, in multiple different niches within the F&B space for the last 20. Well, Manos itself has been in business for over 23 years. But my mom and dad that started in the restaurant business and hospitality have been over 45 years in the industry. And we naturally gravitated towards that because that's all we knew when we were kids. So I wouldn't say I found the company or I'm the founder because I'm not. I'm part of a huge ecosystem within an infrastructure with myself, my brothers, my mom, and my dad that started everything. And this is just one vehicle within the whole entire ecosystem that we have as a hospitality group. As of right now, I am running the consulting side mainly. I operate as well with the other operational businesses as well. But the consulting vehicle that we have within our brand is running through me right now. And obviously with my brothers and my partners who they're the same thing, that we work with. But yeah, right now we divide and conquer and continue to grow.
I forgot, ladies and gentlemen, to add humility to his accolades. So that's on me. He doesn't take all the credit. He shares it with everybody around him. My guy. When you're working with a struggling restaurant, right, or hospitality business, and you and I both know, and all the listeners should admit, everybody right now is a struggling operation. The world is a crazy place. What are some of the first operational elements that you kind of say right away, let's assess these top whatever tiers, to kind of identify how bad or what we need to work on?
So there's multiple different things that we look at. The first thing is numbers. Numbers are like, they eliminate opinions.
An emotion, right?
Yeah. Because I can go into any establishment and we're all guilty of this and we think that we are the best in the business at what we do. And we can try and mask over whatever scenario that there is. We can try and mask over whatever thing that we, don't want to admit. And the first thing that we look at is just show me everything that comes in and out of this place. So show me every documented number that is there. And I can tell you this, 90% of the people that are struggling in the industry don't know their numbers, or their numbers are completely wrong. So where they're focusing, okay, well, like, how can I improve my food? How can I improve my service? That is like the least of my worries, because there's something that's bleeding before that needs to be taken care of. We can work on that later.
Yeah.
The first thing is identifying where the bleeding is, how it's there and why it's there. And then how can we stop it? How can we, I guess, do surgery on it, fix it, and create proper systems moving forward so that it doesn't happen again. But in the meantime, educating them so that they understand how to then take what has been given to them and then use it. And then the last stuff is, the usual, fix your menu and design everything and rebrand, not rebranding, but cleaning up the face of everything, from the front facing stuff. So the stuff that people don't see is what we need to fix first. Because again, you can put lipstick on a pig as much as you want, but eventually it comes crashing down. And those are the first things that we have to look at and fix initially.
Without a doubt. I feel also like the especially in the restaurant space, and I'm a former restaurateur. I owned a deli. The margins are so tight and so small, but the cash flow seems to be like, look at all these cash that we're, and it gives this illusion that cash flow coming into, the deposit is automatically profitability, but that is far, far, far from the truth. So from a consultant's point of view, in consulting, we usually like to focus on systems, right? Let's look at your daily method of operation. Let's look at your system. Let's look at your POS, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How do you balance implementing systems while preserving a restaurant's unique culture or concept? Because as a former restaurateur, my baby was the way I set it up, and I didn't want anybody to change the element of what made it what it was, right? Even if only I understood it in my brain. So I was always afraid, in a way, of anybody, vendor, consultant, advisor, or whatever that comes through that door and try to tell me, and the arrogance and the Kiko kicks in, where you're like, what are you going to tell me that I'm not already doing? So help me understand the balance between preserving authenticity and culture that's already established in a restaurant while implementing systems that may be needed in 2026 and beyond.
So like, it just depends on the business, right? So let's like, people that just think that, okay, someone's coming in as a consultant because it's a failing operation. So yeah. Let's separate them for a second. You can come in to a well-established business that's doing well and take on someone to help scale it even further. So you can come into a place that is doing well, actually has their things together, but then either they don't know how to take that leap of faith to then scale the business, or how to duplicate it. So
the blind spots.
Yeah. So again, and that's not, I'm going to come and rip everything up, because what got you there to be successful is going to be the thing that is going to help you get to the multi-unit operations. The thing that ends up happening is a lot of people, or a lot of owners in that stand, they're willing to learn, and they're willing to take on that advice, because they're seeking guidance to then say, okay, I got it to where it's at, but now how can I duplicate it? So you take that authenticity and then and that culture, and you embed it into the systems. So you don't remove it, because that's what got you there. Mm-hmm. One thing that from my own business, and why we've been successful in the restaurant business and the hospitality business, is the culture that my dad started, and the way that we've created the brands and the different businesses that we have, from that authenticity. So that ethos never leaves. Like, that's the pillar of everything that we drive everything off. Mm-hmm. So when it's opening a new not branch, but a new concept, that culture is still intact. So we transfer that over. The systems are checklists. And honestly, the systems just allow us to be more efficient. Systems are there for efficiency, not to change the culture. Now, the systems can enhance the culture because they allow the culture to, utilize the systems for them to be more successful, but it doesn't necessarily change what the culture is or the values in which that restaurant or that business needs to work on. Now, the flip side is there's people that are super stubborn, that are in a situation that they're hemorrhaging and they need life support, and are so stuck on certain things, and that's what got them there. And those are the people that sometimes you can't help, which is sad. But then those are the people that they have to buy in, and the buy-in really is a drastic change.
I feel like you and I have seen and met many of those individuals of our careers, but it's interesting. People confuse entrepreneurship with automatic authority or understanding how to run things, right? While in reality, entrepreneur is somebody who is continually learning and growing. I mean, I don't know if you know, but I'm pursuing my PhD right now in AI and business science. That's not because I want to add more crap in my life. That's because I know that I'm being replaced by a $20 subscription called ChatGPT and Gemini. So guys, I'm a master of this sucker, and I'm going to own it, So most entrepreneurs don't seem to do that. Now, you've been through turnarounds, and you've seen operations that were failing in multiple industries, but let's keep it in the hospitality space. What would you say the one of the common mistakes operators make when trying to fix a decline in business?
They rack up a large amount of vendor debt.
Yeah.
They overspend in marketing. They feel like the marketing is going to be a Hail Mary that's going to bring people into the door. They bite off more than they can chew. They don't have an identity. That's the main thing. And the further away you get away from that identity, the further away you are from being successful. So when a restaurant is like really, about to crumble, it's pulling them back into the roots of like what their identity really is. And typically why they veer off is because they've completely gone away from, their values and what they actually believe in and why they actually opened that business at the beginning. Because when they first started, they had something in mind. And over time, when certain things start to get a little bit difficult and market shifts start to happen, they start to cut corners and start to do different things. And then they lose touch of the reality of why they created what they created. Now, a lot of people in this industry, I don't know why it is in the F&B industry or hospitality, feel like restaurants are a great idea. And they're like, most of them should never even be anywhere near one of those.
Well, in the United States, the average restaurant doesn't make it past 9 months.
Because a lot of people go to restaurants and they think, oh, it's busy, which means I'm going to be very successful.
Yeah. Far from the truth.
And if I make this food, it's going to be great because my, niece loves it and my grandmother loves it. But running a restaurant is a whole different beast. So people that come into this industry, they come in with, well, if everyone loves my food, so I can just make a restaurant out of it. But they don't realize that it's the toughest business to get into. You have no life. It's 100% restaurants. And you have to know exactly what you're doing. And most people say, oh, I've served, I've bartended, but there's a difference.
There's a lot more than playing one position than being the quarterback and knowing every literal position.
Exactly. So a lot of people think it's a great idea to get into, and then they realize I should never have touched this business, or I should have just become a silent partner and just partner with someone that just is
absolutely
very good at it.
In your experience, Alex, what's the difference between a good hospitality concept and one that scales in multiple locations?
Still marketing your business like it's the Yellow Pages era? Welcome to ME Studios, where local solopreneurs and small business owners catch up with the digital world and take over it. We help you go from invisible to undeniable Featured on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Plus, gain press exposure in over 100 to 300 major media outlets like Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, and the CW. Right here in Eatontown, New Jersey, just steps away from the soon-to-be Netflix studios, our multi-unit facility is built for creators, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Stop marketing like it's 1995. Start building your digital authority today with a team that gets it.
And I'm being nice because I could have been asking, who shouldn't be in business. And obviously I don't want to discourage our listeners if they are inspired and motivated. So let's focus on what would you say the difference between a good hospitality concept that should be just a small mom and pop and a concept that has the potential to scale in multiple locations. Just a 5,000 foot view, if you could.
The principles and the values don't change. Whether it's a multi-unit business that is all over the place in different cities, countries, whatever that may look like, or a singular, single unit. It really comes down to someone that understands the industry, someone that can come in and create an identity, have the values there, create a culture that people can come into and be successful in it. But the problem is a lot of people that come into the restaurant business, they don't have the experience, and then they hire head chefs. This is like my biggest pet peeve in the industry.
They give the keys to the chef. You run it. Yeah.
And then at some point, the head chef realizes either he's asking for more, whether it's equity in the business, whether it's more money, whatever it is, or he's just not happy.
Would you agree that's usually because the head chef is genuinely overwhelmed and no longer in the pocket of what he's passionate about, which is creating, and all of a sudden he's running operations, which is out of his pocket 99% of the time?
He's basically a sub-owner without being an owner.
Owner, right.
And he's not doing what he's there to do. Now, again, there's a lot of head chefs that call themselves head chefs that should not be anywhere near a kitchen.
They should be just cooks.
Yeah. And then there's those that are head chefs that are fantastic. But it depends on what scale that you're looking at. Like when we're talking fine dining, those executive chefs and those head chefs, those people are very good at what they do. Okay? They're paid very well. They have skin in the game.
Rightfully so.
Okay. Yeah. And they operate the back of house phenomenally well. Okay.
Yeah.
They also are partnered with good people that understand the industry.
Sure.
They don't get into business with these people that have no idea what's going on.
Sure.
So they're also smart because they're also, they have the business mindset. The mid tier to the low end tier is where the problems really tend to happen. Like your neighborhood restaurant that is there, or then you have the mom and pop restaurant.
I was gonna say, and they got grandma in the back, and they think that grandma's soup is automatically gonna be a big hit in the business just because I liked it when I was growing up, and that is not necessarily how it works.
Yeah. So those are the people that are usually in a tough situation, because those are the people that are being held by the head chef.
Sure.
And the head chef ends up becoming a high turnover position. And then now you're starting from zero every 30 to 60 to 90 days because the guys come in. It's not what he wants. It's change. You bump heads. Okay, rip the new menu, that new menu out, create a new menu, different suppliers, different supply chains, different whatever. The cogs are through the roof. And now you see the slippery slope start to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes total sense. What role does guest experience innovation play in your consulting approach, and how do you measure success there in that area?
When restaurants and hospitality is all about feeling. So how do you create a place that someone can come in, feel a certain way, enjoy that atmosphere, enjoy what they taste, enjoy what's there, enjoy bringing other guests to that establishment and walk away saying, I got value for my money. Number one, I would go back there every single time. And that's a place that I could call myself a regular. That is what you're trying to build, whether it's a franchise, whether it's a mom and pop, whether it's the neighborhood restaurant, whatever that may look like, all these successful businesses have regular guests.
Sure.
And those regular guests are the pillars to the success and the foundation of the business, because again, you're not getting first timers coming in every single day. The reason that those people come back and they are the success to your business and the heartbeat is because you make them feel a certain way and they know exactly what they're going to get every single time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes total sense. If you were advising a first-time restaurateur right now, what is that one piece of advice they often don't expect, but they absolutely need?
A first-time restaurateur?
First-time restaurateur, yep.
So never worked in the industry. And they're getting
Whether they did or not, but this is their very first time initiating ownership of a restaurant. Small mom and pop, this is the very first time.
Hire a consultant from day one that has operation experience, has culinary experience, that is willing to, that they're willing to actually listen, help give him some sort of skin in the game long term. Not only just from, hey, I'm just going to pay this guy to come and do the work to get us off the ground. Give him some sort of upside on top of that.
Sure.
If it makes sense, but create an environment. If you don't want to give up any of that upside, create an environment that they can come in and actually do their job. Like, don't be cheap on the consultant. Pay the consultant, because what you pay up front to get this guy in or someone in to come and build your infrastructure from day one, create a whole entire system, create everything from training to front of house, back of house, SOPs, everything for the first 6 months of your business will set you up to be successful, because then you can learn on the job.
And the reality is it'll save you a whole lot of money
on the back end.
On mistakes that you probably would be making.
It costs you money up front, but it doesn't cost you money in losing your business in 6 months' time.
100%. It's like I learned in the health and wellness space, they're like, oh, it's too expensive. And I heard, I'll never forget about this. I'm like, you may look at it as expensive now, but the $60,000 surgery bill that you're going to get in the hospital eventually, it's a lot more expensive.
Just let's do the math real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so like we can paint a picture here. For the average restaurateur to come into the business is going to, if it's a mom and pop restaurant, first time going into a vanilla shell, let's say it's going to cost you $250,000 to $500,000. That is build out equipment, licensing, whatever, inventory, staff, and have at least 5 months of operating expenses stashed away. Okay. So let's say $500,000 to come into a restaurant. It's like that really like depends on like a 75-seater restaurant. With a full kitchen, full service, front of house, back of house. Okay. $500,000. Okay. That's from day one. We're allocating $500,000. You come in with zero experience in the industry, not knowing how to get us off the ground. You're learning on the job. You're making a lot of mistakes. The first mistake that they do is they don't have an idea of how to build a kitchen. Building a kitchen is the biggest problem that restaurateurs have that don't understand restaurants. They don't know how to create the lines correctly and the supply chains from where a dish starts to where it ends. They overspend because they want certain fancy equipment that is
nobody knows the difference or needs to be
whatever.
With you. Yep.
Okay. You can, because of the failure rate in the industry, you can pick up brand new equipment that is used for like 6 months at half the price. So you're getting basically a brand new piece of equipment for half the price. You could build a kitchen for half the price. That is where a lot of money goes into. Okay. And then they realize, oh, I actually don't need this. They buy all these fancy equipments that they don't actually need. And all the equipments that they bought don't even fit the menu. So there you can see like the pattern starting to already unravel, right? So you're $500,000 in. You're bringing in an executive chef that is going to come in and create the menu. It could work. It could not work. Again, he's not training the front of house because he's only in the kitchen. And in say 3 to 4 months, you have your honeymoon period. That honeymoon period runs out, especially in the restaurant industry. Most people will give you 2 shots, especially when you open. Everyone will come and try you. And then, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
The beta phase. I allow
I'll
the
give
mistake.
you the benefit of the doubt that, hey, you've just opened. It wasn't great, or the service wasn't good, the food was decent. Let's come back again. And then you burn that customer again. That's it. So what does the cost of acquiring a new customer, cost?
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take to bring that customer in? What does that customer's journey look like
financially as well?
Yeah. And then in 3 to 6 months time, you're now where another big thing that restaurants do is they pull these crazy loans out. Like they take MCA
and 99%
loans.
It's hard. I was gonna say hard cash loans, which is out of desperation, and it backfires so bad.
With like 3-month payback, 40% interest, weekly draws out of their cash, completely messes their cash flow up. They're in this survival mode. Now, imagine you created the infrastructure from day one, paid $100,000 to a consultant, and in 6 months' time, you have a business that's you didn't even touch,
running and ready to profit.
You didn't even touch the month 3 of operating expenses that you had saved away.
Yeah.
So from that picture, what makes more sense right there and then? Like pay someone to come and do it and build the infrastructure, or hire someone from, say, an executive chef or whatever, and just bootstrap it together that you're going to do it. And then in 3 months, you're now in a situation that you can't get out of.
And look, we started this interview with look at the numbers, right? Because the numbers don't have emotions and don't have opinions. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Right now, in the United States, the average restaurants, which I believe when I was in culinary school back in 2004, the chef was like, "Are you guys sure you want to do this?" And we're like, "Yes, chef." He goes like, "Good, because 100% of you right now have an 11% chance of making it long term if you even start." And we're like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Yeah, because less than 11% of restaurants that open don't make it past 9 months." And I was like, "What did I sign up for?"
And then here's the other thing, because I mentioned bringing a consultant in. There's 2 types of consultants. There's operating consultants, and then there's just these consultants that work, that say they're consultants. Those are 2 different things.
It's a good, fun title. It's like the entrepreneur.
Because it sounds great, but if a consultant in the restaurant industry doesn't go into the kitchen and can't actually go into the kitchen and build it and actually do it, if they haven't operated their own business, then stay away from that. That is another thing. So like, okay, you can go and spend $100,000 on a consultant and still get burned.
Yeah.
So understanding what type of person you want to come in to your business, what type of person that you want to get help from, that is a big differential that a lot of people need to look out for. So again, bringing someone in that understands the industry, but bringing someone in that is actually an operator that has been successful, not an operator that is, or a consultant that doesn't have restaurants that have been successful, and now he just gone into restaurant consulting because it sounds good, because the operation was too difficult.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, Alex, first and foremost, thank you so much, because this has been a master class in what it actually takes to scale hospitality without losing soul. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are an operator or even an investor looking for a partner who's lived that journey, you can, of course, connect with Alex and his team at Manos consulting.com. It's right there in the bottom of your screen. You're seeing it this whole time. Look, that's it for today. We want to make sure that we're giving you enough value without overwhelming you or scaring you off. That's why I ask specific questions that does not initiate the horror stories, because boy, let me tell you, the restaurant business is the motherlode of potential horror stories. But you can do it on your own and put a whole lot of money, time, effort, and energy just to shut it down in 3 to 6 months to 9 months if you make it past the 11% threshold of people who start. Or definitely make sure you visit the website on your screen right now, or for those of you who are listening, it's right in the description with this episode itself. And I'm pretty sure you will be qualified beforehand, because the reality is I do know Alex. I do know the heavyweight champion that he is. And he'll tell you right from the get if you are ready to scale and take it to the next level. He's not about a retainer or just an invoice. It's about, can we create a long-term results? And if he identifies that he can, then you're in great hands. But if he feels like you're not ready, he'll tell you straight up, here's what you should do, A, B, C. And when you do those things, come back to me and we'll be able to work together. But what do you have to lose by establishing a complementary evaluation for yourself? Alex, as we are parting ways, any final remarks that you want to share with our audience?
No, again, there's no pre-criteria or anything like that. Go ahead, fill out the form, answer a couple questions, reach out, do a full understanding of your entire business, and then send over a proposal to you. And from there, we can take it and see, what makes sense for you and how we can help, whether it be, initial concept development, a business that needs, some help, or in a business that is doing well that just needs to scale, in multiple different facets. So thank you for your time, Ali. And, excited to see some of the new faces coming into, the firm.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you visit that website in your description. And again, if you're driving, don't touch the phone. But if you're not driving, feel free to ask any questions about the information that you heard, or just simply go to the website that is on the description itself, because Alex and I will be monitoring these questions just in case we can answer them for you in real time. We appreciate it and thank you. And until next time, have a blessed day, everybody.
Still marketing your business like it's the Yellow Pages era? Welcome to ME Studios, where local solopreneurs and small business owners catch up with the digital world and take over it. We help you go from invisible to undeniable. Featured on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Plus, gain press exposure in over 100 to 300 major media outlets like Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, and the CW. Right here in Eatontown, New Jersey, just steps away from the soon-to-be Netflix studios, our multi-unit facility is built for creators, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Stop marketing like it's 1995. Start building your digital authority today with a team that gets it.